Hi everybody, it's Angie from Angie's Inspirations, and today I'm going to do my third video on pregnancy and my disability. So today I'm going to talk to you about my pregnancy with my oldest daughter. The pregnancy itself was pretty uneventful, and like I've told you guys before, you know, pregnancy helps to make your joints more flexible, and that helps with the pain. And so you don't really need to be on pain medication when you're pregnant if you have CP, or most people don't anyway. In saying that, there's not a lot of us around here in Newfoundland who have CP and have had children. There are very few of us around, actually, and it's kind of sad because having children is an awesome experience. It's an experience that I would have never traded for anything, and I love both my children, and they're both really awesome people, and yeah, so that part of it is pretty sad, but like I said, the pregnancy itself was uneventful. What was risky for me was, again, my delivery, and you guys have heard about the delivery with my second child. So, what happened with my oldest child's delivery was that, okay, so, 3 days before she was born, I started leaking a little bit of water, and they admitted me in to the hospital, but I was only leaking like little bits, and then so they kept a monitor on. They kept a monitor on that, and my water wasn't gonna break, and I wasn't having contractions. Just my water was leaking little bits. So after a while, that stopped, and my case, according to them, was no longer an emergency. And I think what made it non-emergent was that they had a bigger emergency come in, and they needed my bed, and so they sent me home and told me to wait. And at that point, it was just a waiting game. So the morning that I went in labor with her was actually her due date, which is pretty rare. I was told that less than 4% of babies are actually born on their actual predicted due dates. So, that's pretty rare. So, but that's how it happened. And so I was in the tub, and I went in labor in the tub, and there was a lot of blood. There was about a cup and a half of blood, and I didn't know what in the heck was going on. I knew you really weren't supposed to bleed in the beginning of labor unless there was something urgent going on, and it frightened me. So the ambulance was called, and I was brought to the hospital, and I had placenta previa, which is what caused the bleeding. And the placenta previa is where the placenta separates from the uterus before the baby's born. It's supposed to separate from the uterus after the birth, and then of course that's what prompts the delivery of the placenta, which is often referred to as the afterbirth. So in in my case, yeah, it's separated before birth, and that can create kind of a big problem. You sometimes might need a blood transfusion because you end up losing like a lot of blood, and that's what happened with me. I actually needed a blood transfusion, and that was pretty scary, but I had a healthy baby, and she was tiny but healthy. She was 6 pounds 11 ounces, and it was really awesome when she was born, and I got to hold her, and everything was good. With her, I had a vaginal delivery, and with my second one, I had a C-section, and I told you about that in one of my videos prior to this one. But like I said to you before, if I had to do it all over again, I would. It was an awesome experience. I loved it. I love being pregnant. And when you are, like, when you hold that baby in your arms, you forget all about the pain of the labor. It just sort of goes out the window, and you kind of are just grateful for this beautiful, healthy baby. So, that is what happened with her labor and delivery. And like I said, the pregnancy itself was pretty uneventful. There was no big things that happened during the pregnancy. The one thing that does stand out, though, is that one night I had the most insane, crazy, flipping migraine. It was the worst migraine I'd ever had in my life. And it still, to date, is the worst that I've ever had. And, of course, I wouldn't take anything for it because I was pregnant. And at that point, I was 13 weeks pregnant. And, I was so scared to take anything. So, I ended up actually throwing up in the hospital. I went in the hospital and they did give me a shot of something. I'm not sure what it was, but it took my migraine away and didn't affect her. So I was happy. And it was just awesome to not be in pain anymore. But that's the worst thing in relation to the pregnancy that happened. And the other thing that happened during that pregnancy, couple of days after I had that really crazy flippin' migraine, my dad passed away, and it was really difficult because I don't live at home anymore. I don't live in the community that I was born in, and it was recommended to me that I not travel home, and it was really, really, really hard. It really affected me big time, but somehow I pulled it together and got through. And I really think that it was for the best that I didn't attend the funeral, because I think I would have fell apart if I had thought my dad like that. Sorry guys, it's just really hard to talk about even 16 plus years later. I was really close to Dad, and I was like the biggest daddy's little princess that ever was on the face of the earth. And he was just he was my hero. He was my everything growing up, and I owe so much to my dad. And it was so hard to go through him passing away and not being able to go to the funeral and stuff because I was pregnant. But I know that, you know, it worked out the way that it was supposed to. And I had a really difficult time dealing with the fact that he was gone. But I think the fact that I was pregnant got me through because I didn't completely fall apart. And I think my daughter was the only reason why I didn't fall apart. And you know, it was still a really sad time, and the church that we were attending at the time had a funeral, or memorial service for my dad, at the same time that his funeral was taking place at home, and that was really helpful to me, and I was so grateful to the church for that. And anyways guys, that's my experience with my pregnancy with my oldest daughter. And I'll talk to you guys soon, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, comment, and bye for now.